Before we get into today's episode, I just want to give a quick shout out to my new sponsor, Inflow Finance. I'm genuinely happy to support them because I've worked with them myself. Inflow is a specialist bridging and development finance lender, and what really sets them apart is that they are 100% funded privately with no credit committees, fewer restrictions, and a much faster decision-making process. In my experience, when Inflow issue terms, they rarely change, and they're genuinely always ready to lend, which makes a huge difference when you're trying to keep a deal moving, when funding a development project, or when your current loan is due to expire or has already come to term. If you are a developer, investor, or broker looking for refurbishment, development, or bridging finance, then Inflow is the right lender for you because they truly understand property. Do reach out to them via their website, inflowfinance.com, or scan the QR code below. Hi everyone, my name is Manni Chopra and welcome to another episode of Passion for Property. My guest today is very much a powerhouse property developer, incredible, inspirational, unstoppable, high achiever, and has built up a portfolio of over £30 million in less than 8 years in property. Please welcome Xuan Meng.
Thank you, Manni. I'm so glad to be here with you today. And thank you for the intro. I love it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I know you it's worth every single word that I just said. I mean it. So firstly, thank you for your time. And I wanted to start off with probably saying, yes, you've achieved a lot in the last 8 years, way more than most people achieve in a lifetime. And we know your why, obviously your little one. And now that you've achieved your financial freedom and gone way beyond that, where are you currently in your property journey right now? Because, you've got millions of HMOs, if not hundreds, lots and lots of, amazing cash flow, an amazing team, lots of vertical businesses and planning and architecture. You've got the VA team as well, that you source VAs. You've got your construction. So it'd be good to sort of get a bit of understanding of where you are currently in your property journey.
I guess every day is a new day. And I'm genuinely really, really passionate about property. I love it. I'm not doing it for money anymore. I'm doing it for the fun, for my passion, for wanting to leave something behind for legacy. So if you ask me where is the end goal, I don't know. I just want to make as much money as possible, if I can say that. I want to create as much social impact as possible. I want to set a good example for my daughter. And because I love this is like a kind of my hobby. I can imagine myself like in my 80s, like little granny with her stick, still trying to view properties.
Absolutely. So it's in your DNA. Let's put it that way. And so tell us from the time when you started out, you in the first year, you said you built 3 HMOs within 12 months, very quickly before you knew it. And that was your main goal.
Yeah.
You achieved it very, very quickly. What do you think was the reason why you achieved so quickly and, overachieved, in fact, straight away in year one?
Actually, if I'm very, very honest, it's not because I am ambitious, I'm very, very driven and stuff. It was genuinely, I was pushed into a corner. Actually, if I ask me what is my biggest weakness, is my mindset. I grew up in China, and in China, it's still much more traditional than here. And I was given this idea that a woman's success is marry well, have few children, look after the husband, support your husband's career. And that was what I was planning to do. But, life is interesting, and God didn't give me that opportunity and was actually pushed into a, I think, very tight corner. So I was, I ended up in a very, very bad divorce. And my daughter was only a few weeks old when that happened.
So you've literally had this hormonal activity going on inside you with a new baby.
Yeah.
All the trauma that goes with have childbirth.
Yeah.
And then a broken relationship.
Yeah. And I found it out in a very traumatic way overnight. So I'm basically in this country with a young baby, and I don't have my family surrounding me. I do have a good job. I was working in finance, asset management at the time. But my old job was very demanding, so I have to travel constantly to New York, to Hong Kong, to Luxembourg. And also it's probably every day 10, 11 hours plus commute. It's not possible for me to look after a young child. So I asked myself, what can I do? And the property was the only thing I found at that time I can potentially do. Also make a good living for my daughter, but also have time to spend with her. Not that I think in property I'll work less hard, but at least I'm my own boss, so I have more flexibility with the time. So I quite often worked when she was sleeping. I took her to property viewings and stuff. Actually, I remember the first property we viewed together, she was just a couple of months old and she was tucked in here with a baby carrier. And I was trying to get into the loft to measure the loft height because it's essential, right? I want to do a loft conversion. And the estate agent was freaking out. It's like, I have no responsibility, okay? I have no liability because I was climbing the loft ladder.
With this 2-month-old baby.
Yeah. But I was genuinely, I didn't have a dream. I didn't have a lot of ambition. I was really pushed into a very tight corner. And instead of giving up, I decided to fight.
Yeah.
Why I wanted 3 HMO, right? I calculated my expenses at that time. My expenses now is a little bit higher, but back then, 3 HMOs, the income, the net profit from 3 HMOs was enough to pay everything. So my biggest dream at that time, I thought would take many years to achieve, is to have 3 HMOs. So I don't ever have to worry about money anymore. That's it. But I didn't know within a year I achieved that. The Article 4 in Croydon helped that because when I finished my first property, I was told, oh, Article 4 is coming next January. So I just hit down, concentrate, bye.
So that was where you invested your first 3, was a Croydon?
Yeah.
Right. And so you are, year 1, you've done these 3 HMOs. Was there a specific strategy? Was it just buying like a 3-bedroom house and increasing the floor space? What was the strategy in the year 1?
So it was relatively simple. So I would also always buy a rundown property with a lot of planning, uplift, potential, extension. So my first one was one of those L-shaped houses. So you can do a double loft dormer. So I got a 6-bedroom ensuite. So my first ever project is a 6-bedroom ensuite HMO in Croydon. So I bought it for, I think, 380. And spent about 120 on it. It was cheaper back then, and got a value to 700. So I took all of the money out, and that's why it's so important. So when people look at target, they ask me, how do I choose a project? Because I didn't grow, I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I had very limited money to start with, and I have a goal, right? So when I look at if I can do a project or not, it's always whether I can get all of my money out. If I have to leave 50,000 here, 50,000 there, very soon I'm stuck. I run out of money. So that deal, I decided to do it because I can take all my money out. And the second one is already an 8-person HMO. So how I did is I applied for extension and got the extension approved. And then I used the C3 to C4 to get 6%. And then I went from 6 to 8. So I decided to do it gradually because I want to minimize the risk, because planning is always about material change, right? I minimize the amount of change every single time. So I got that. And I think that property was bought for 360 and was valued for 910. And then I bought my third one. Again, it's another terraced house and it was an 8-person HMO. That HMO, that terraced house was only 4.6 meters wide. But if I show you the floor plan, I think that one, the key success was my intuition with the floor plan, how I played with it. And I managed to have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in the loft.
3 bedrooms and 2 right.
And it's only 4.6 meters wide.
Wow.
And so I was very, very happy.
It's a corner plot, was it?
No, it's mid-terrace.
Mid-terrace.
Yeah, I was even shocked.
Amazing. That is amazing. So what was it that helped you create this massive loft then? Was this the L shape you talked about?
Yeah, so number one, it's an L-shaped house. So, you can do the double dormer. But usually it's 2 rooms, right? But this house, what is unique is it has a big gable in the front.
Yeah.
So I dropped the ceiling.
Yeah.
So there is more room underneath the gable. But still, you can't stand up. But I used it. It's about 1.8 meter tall. So I used that for a Japanese tatami style bed. I used that for sleeping area. And also I dropped the ceiling quite a lot.
Yeah.
And also, for a terraced house, you can do 40 cubic meter, right? When you do loft conversion.
Yes.
It's cubic meter. So you drop the ceiling. You don't make it very high,
Yeah.
you can go back further.
Yes.
So I dropped the floor quite a bit.
So instead of being like this, it became like this, and the
Yes.
floor space internally
Yeah.
went up.
Yes. So I had a 1 ensuite room and a 2-bedroom sharing 1 bathroom in the loft.
Amazing. So just going back to those numbers, they are quite incredible. And you said your second and your third deal was already 8-bed HMOs, but presumably they didn't have sui generis. They were illegal in terms of planning, or they already had sui generis?
Yeah, no, they didn't have. So I bought normal family.
Oh, you bought normally, and then you
3-bedroom
converted
house.
into
I convert.
8.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And
Yeah.
by just extending loft, single story.
Yeah, backwards. The second house was double-story rear extension.
Right. And you said you did 6 first, and created the extra rooms, but didn't go for the 6.
Yeah.
And then 7, and then 8, or how did you do it?
Went from 6 to 8. And this strategy, to be honest, I have been refused before, but I have won every single appeal. So using this strategy, every single time I got my large HMO.
Yeah.
But if you go directly from a C3, a 3-bedroom family home to 8-person HMO, very likely. I think more likely than not, you'll be refused.
Absolutely.
But if you go it in a phased, staged approach, for me, it's 100% success.
Titans is a property education and collaborative platform, which is effectively a community of property professionals, investors, developers who like to come together, connect, engage, and help grow each other's businesses. Find out more, teamtitans.co.uk. So here you are, year 1. You've already probably built up an equity of about maybe $500,000.
Yeah.
I know you started off with 450 from watching some of your previous videos. So you probably pulled out all your money and probably had extra money to reinvest.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking at that point? What should I do next? Or because your baby's probably a year old by now.
And she's 2. I started when she was about 1 year old because I was deciding if I go, because I was at the end of my maternity leave, do I go back or not?
Yeah. And did you go sabbatical, or did you just give up your job?
I gave up my job. Yeah.
That takes a bit of sort of a decision making, doesn't it? Because it's not easy to make that decision.
Yeah, but actually it was really easy because I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
How can I go back?
Because you
10
having
hours,
parents here to help with the baby.
Yeah.
So you said you were. But so then what happens in year 2? You've got all this money, you've got cash flow that you really ever needed, really.
Yeah.
What was going on in your head, and what did you do next?
So I did more HMOs, bigger HMOs. So I did this scheme, which won me the Property Investor Award for large HMO. So basically what I did, I bought this house and I thought it's big enough for 10, 11-person HMO. But I don't want to apply for 10, 11-person because it's double digits on a residential road. I think all my neighbors will try to murder me, and
You wouldn't be very well liked.
So I think, how can we do this, achieve the same goal, but with least resistance? So instead of from going to A to C directly, I went to A to B and to C. So I applied for extensions and converted this house into 2 3-bedroom flat. But that 3-bedroom flat is quite big, have a separate reception room, has a separate dining room. So the 2 3-bedroom flat is very little resistance, right?
Yes.
We got that no problem and we built it out. But when we were looking at the floor plan, we already thought about we want a 5-person HMO in each property. That's why we have a separate reception room, separate dining room. So after I finished building all of them, and there are C3 properties, straight away each flat benefits from the permitted dividend right. So I went to C3 to C4 and changed them into 5-person HMO each.
So you got your 10-bed HMO.
I got my 10, but very little planning risk.
That was clever. And was this, did you just come up with this, or did you go on a course, or did you learn it from someone else? Or
I mostly just came up with it because one of my core strengths is planning. I absolutely like planning. It's like the problem solving, strategy type of thing I like. And also I look at the whole property development cycle, right? Obviously I didn't come from a construction background. How can I build cheaper than others, right? So I'm thinking, if there is one area I can be better, maybe it's planning.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of book smart.
Yeah. And, with your investment banking background, you're also an accountant.
Yeah.
As well. So not only you're good in numbers, but you're also, as you said, very bright.
I can read the research very fast.
Yeah. Okay, so here you are. You've got this. You've got what you wanted, as you said. Your initial goal was done. What then motivated you to go further in your journey, and what kind of vision you had back then?
Actually, back then, I didn't have a big vision per se. And that's probably one of my biggest regret on my property journey. So I was always pushed into it. Like initially, I was pushed into it. And later, I did bigger stuff because I achieved my initial goal very easily. So every year, I'm like, set myself a goal, but it's a very small goal. And I achieve it very quickly. And then I set myself another goal. I love property. I know I don't want to stop. But there was no strategic thinking. There was no vision.
You just kept but the thing is, I know there wasn't a vision, but you still kept going, and you kept going from one deal to another to 3 or 4 a year, and probably, very quickly you were building up your portfolio. Let's put it that way.
I agree. But if I have thought about it more strategically, I had a 3-year plan, 5-year plan, I can probably hit those targets much better.
Yeah.
So at that time, I gradually start to realize that was one of my biggest strengths. So I grew up in quite a disadvantaged background. I didn't have like a very successful people around me as role models and stuff. So that's when I decided to get a lot of education. So actually, when I first started, I didn't get any education because I didn't have money. I don't want to spend the money on education. So that was when I did a Millback Academy with Paul Hicks. I'm not sure if you know him.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, he's very good with planning. So a lot of my planning knowledge actually came from him. I bought his the whole course. And I was studying it. And I attended various workshops. I also joined the developers club. So at the board level, so everyone has to be doing more than 10 million. So I met some quite experienced developers because the minimum requirement is 10 million GDV. So there are some guys doing I have a friend who really had a positive impact on me. He's doing 900 units under planning and construction. Wow. So it took me to see his operation. Wow, it's eye-opening. And he always tells me, you have to 10 times it, 10 times it, 10 times it. Wow. I'm this is scary. So I met a lot of people and they start to change me. And there's another guy I really like. His name is Doreen Payne, Castell Group. So in the past, because I was from a quite poor background, when people tell me, I want to change the world, I think, it's a bit funny. I don't take it serious, right? I think it's a joke. And I don't think I can change the world. But after speaking to him, spending time with him, now I genuinely believe I can change the world for the better as well. And it's not a joke.
Yeah. What about providing quality accommodation to start with? Because people want to live in nice places, right?
Yeah.
And charging them, market rents and whatever, and, they're giving them a good starting point on the ladder, be it as a rental property, but still that gives them inspiration to move to, buy the next home, in a few years' time or whatever. So I think you're absolutely right.
Exactly.
But I think you made a very valid point. And a lot of the podcasts I've been doing last few months, there seems to be this recurring theme of environment and people. And like you said, you've met people who are 10 times bigger than you, and they've inspired you to go bigger, go better. Not necessarily just the money, as you said, you're enjoying property as well. So it's not just about the money, because you've made the money that you really wanted to have. But now it's about maybe getting a better lifestyle, but more importantly, getting inspired by these overachievers.
Yeah.
And, you're definitely one of them yourself. So I guess there is definitely some truth in it, in surrounding yourself with the right people and pushing yourself, as you did, to go into this board level program, which probably paid a lot of money for it, right?
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. And also one of my proudest moments is, there are quite a few boards. There are 3 boards, the legacy group, the current board, and there's the Irish board as well. And for most part of the time, I was the only girl there. And for 2 consecutive years, all the guys, they voted for me to be the developer of the year.
Wow.
I'm the only woman, but I was a developer of the year twice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So is this cookie cutter model is where you're buying these 3-4 bedroom houses in kind of very high, sort of affluent areas, I'd say, right? So you're paying quite top dollar for it. And you're then converting into 8? What's your minimum kind of number? 8 beds or?
Yeah, I think nowadays my smallest number is 8. Largest number I'm looking at is 35. There is a
35.
So I go bigger and bigger. And also I started to do, besides HMO, inspired by my other friends, ground up development, conversions, commercial to residential conversions, ground up development, residential development, detached houses. So I start to do all sorts of things. And my core strength is planning, right? And I used to use external consultants for it. But sometimes, the speed, the quality, especially the speed is a problem. I do things very fast. So I start to build a planning team in-house. And this just has been a game changer for me. And some of my other friends saw it and they started by, Xuan, can you do planning for me, this and that? And we started that. And about a year ago, because so many people ask, we just launched the proper planning and the design services. And now we have 18 people in that team.
Wow. And the thing is, you probably just implemented what you learned in your property education to your team. So how do you run this team? Because I know it's all based in Philippines, or most of them are based. How does it work? Did you impart your knowledge to them? How did you train them up?
Yeah. So now it's actually much better. But I think even now, I probably spend 1 hour a day, every single day, training them various things. Like today, I went to a property viewing before I come to you. I record the whole thing. I walk through the house, talk them through what is my vision and stuff. And I send them the video because I'm not here. I have to involve them. But back in the days, I think I started my virtual model nearly 4 years ago now. And back in the days when I first set it up, I used to spend more than 50% of my time building this team, training this team. A lot of people now look at me, they think, wow, you have such a scalable and efficient operating model. Should I copy? Actually, I don't recommend for everyone. I think this is definitely going to work. But you have to invest your life and soul into it. If you are not going to do that, it's going to backfire.
Yeah.
And you have wasted time and effort and then, this is not working. It's not that it's not working. You haven't invested enough.
And you need to have the skills for yourself, right? Like, I know you said you're an amazing delegator, and that's the only way it can work, right? Because if you are one of those people that you want to keep all that information to yourself, or you think you're really good at something and you don't want to delegate, this model is not going to work.
Yeah.
But also, how did you then did you find a person based in the Philippines who helped you scale this up, or how did you kind of kickstart it?
Yeah, so I found some people, and to be honest, I kissed a few frogs as well. But the good people, they stay, and I build my senior management level. I have a HR, even like a dedicated HR person. So all my subsequent hires, right, were hired. So the HR will do the level 1 interview. And then the manager, so for example, Perry is my head of planning. He will do the level 2 technical interview for architects and planners. And then I even have a level 3 interview. This guy is a mentor of mine when even back then when I was working in the city. And he's always been with me. He's known me since I was 23. And he was my mentor back in the city. And a few years ago, he retired and got really bored. So he's now my strategic advisor helping me. So he'll do the level 3 interview to make sure the cultural fit, because he's seeing a lot of people, right? He's his late 60s and he can
pick things that you and I bullshitters, but also, like you said, the commitment, and like you said, because like you said, you're not going to see them I know you go there once a year for your team building and you meet them and all, but you're not going to see them for the most part of the year, right? So you want someone who's actually committed to being part of your team.
Yeah.
And how did they learn the UK specific knowledge? You just gave them information?
It's actually not that difficult. It's much easier than you think, because we already hired the best planner and architects there.
Oh, they're already qualified planners back there?
Yeah.
Right.
And we pay them very well. And you can pay a little bit more and to get the best talent there. And then I would buy all the training courses. For example, on Rick's surveying, Rick's website, you have all the courses. Don't tell others, but I just buy it and I give them. Quite a few people can share, right? Everything's online.
Absolutely.
So they all watch the courses, training. I personally train them as well. When I first started, I used to do like every single day, I have 3 hours of training, 1 hour for planning, 1 hour for operations, 1 hour for construction.
Yeah.
So I'll connect the dots for them. And also what we do is because the labor cost is a little bit cheaper, so we spend more time on each case. Because a lot of the time I feel like it's not complicated, but people here, because the labor cost is so expensive, you give them a case, they don't spend the 2 days reading all the SPDs, or the local plan, or also the relevant cases in this area, right?
Yeah.
Because if you do all that, you have a very, very good understanding. especially if you're architect or planner, but people don't do that. So we always spend twice the amount of time compared to maybe our competitors and stuff. And also
So it's the detail. You're focusing on the detail and you're at the minutiae, right?
Yeah. And also I think it's a focus because, for example, a UK planner will do everything, infrastructure, even airport, railway, large scheme and stuff. And we focus on the stuff we do. So it's HMOs. I think we are better than anybody in terms of HMO in this country because how many cases they go through, right? My own case. And they go through not only the planning, they get involved at the viability stage, property sourcing stage, planning stage, construction. Even later, when I rent out a room and then a tenant complain, oh, you put me in a room next to the kitchen and it's very noisy, my architect will get told off. Why didn't you specify insulation?
Yeah.
So they know all those things,
little things that you have to be careful for because you don't think about it when you're actually doing the design.
Yeah.
But then when people are living in it, you realize.
Yeah.
So the next one you do, you make sure you do it better.
Exactly. So for HMOs and the small scale, like ground up development, of like 9 flats, 10 flats, I think we're so much better. Yeah.
So tell me now, I know obviously I can't go through all your deals because you've done too many of them.
Yeah.
Could you maybe give us your sort of your best sort of, let's say, commercial deal that you've done and your best sort of ground up and your best HMO deal, maybe one of each?
Okay. I can tell you HMO deal. The one I post in Titan does not need to be the best. Can be the most recent because I'm doing a showcase next Saturday.
Excellent.
People can come. Yeah. So I bought a house for 560,000 in Epsom. It's quite small because Epsom is an expensive area. It's under 90 square meters, but it's on quite a large plot. There's a side plot. So I did a double-story side extension, double-story rear extension, and the loft conversion. And I converted into 2 flats. But each flat is 6 person.
Wow.
So 6 bedroom, all ensuite in each flat. And I already explained why I do it from a planning point of view. It really de-risk it. And there are other benefits as well. Because, for example, do you want to live in a 12-person HMO sharing with 11 other people? It's a bit tough, right? So from a tenant experience point of view, it's better that it's 2 flats as well.
Exactly.
You share with 5 other people.
Others.
So it's much higher rent and stuff. The only downside is the construction cost is slightly higher because 2 flats, you have to comply with building control and you have to get utilities and all that.
And, in between the floors, the noise, the sound, the fire, all of that. Yeah.
But overall, I think it's a very, very good strategy. So I paid 560 for it. And the construction cost just come under 490. And I'm getting the valuation. I haven't got the valuation results. The report hasn't come back, but I've spoken to the valuer. I know what number they use because they always value my other property. The end valuation probably will be 1.75.
Wow. So you've made 750 grand. Let's say 700 grand or maybe but in one deal.
Keeping it, remortgaging all my money out for the next deal. And the average rent there is probably about 1,100 for each room.
Wow. So that is an incredible deal. That is huge.
And what is the best is because of my planning team, everybody is so quick. We got the offer grade in October 2024.
Oh, wow.
So we completed it in February last year, 2025. But by the time we completed, we've done the pre-app, we know we can get this. And the moment we exchanged the contract, we submitted the full application.
On the day.
And because the officer has already seen it, everything has been agreed with them, all the amendment, it got approved in April. And construction started in May. And it's already fully finished. Like I said, next week, it's all the valuation done. Next week is already inviting friends to come have a look.
Before you start tenanting it out.
Yeah. And by end of this February, I should have the remortgage money out as well. So this whole deal is within 12 months.
Wow.
Money in, money out.
Amazing.
Within 12 months. So I think that's what I like most. In this market, it's so volatile.
Yes.
You have the certainty, you do things fast.
Yeah. I think you've really used your team to the maximum. And like you said, the processes that you've done, the timings that you're going with is just out of that's really why you're successful. And going back to maybe your new build strategy, what was the best deal you think you've done so far? And
this is one of the recent flatted scheme we've done. But again, it's planning, which really has made a huge difference. So I bought this bungalow for 860 and just it's slightly outside Wimbledon, but you can call it Wimbledon, West Wimbledon.
Yeah.
You call it, it's near like between Rains Park and Wimbledon. And I bought it for 860. It's a very, very rundown bungalow. And I used the same strategy. When I was buying this, when I was going through legal, we already did the pre-app. For 6 flats. And
6 flats?
Yeah. And the officer was happy with it and all that. And we only completed it, I think, middle of 2024. And after a few months, we got the planning for 6 flat. And that is when we made a material amendment. Initially, I put a basement there. But later, when I was doing numbers and stuff, especially with construction cost soaring, I removed the basement. If I didn't do the amendment, it would be even faster. And we started construction December 2024. It's ground up development, all that. And we finished it already end of October last year.
10 months.
And on the 8th of November, we did the open day for buyers and stuff. And before Christmas, everything was under offer.
I just want to give a quick shout out to my new sponsor, Inflow Finance. I'm genuinely happy to support them because I've worked with them myself. If you are a developer, investor, or broker looking for refurbishment, development, or bridging finance, then Inflow is the right lender for you because they truly understand property. Do reach out to them via their website, inflowfinance.com, or scan the QR code below. Wow. So you think you priced it well, or you just built it to an amazing specification? Because the London market is slow. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Properties are staying on the market for over a year in some cases. So what do you think made that difference? Did you stage the properties? Was it the size? Was it the price? Was it everything together?
I think the location is very good. The property is designed beautifully. I think it's the quality. It's actually a rectangular site. When people look at it, it's like, oh, all the rooms are rectangular. But no, we designed it in a way that when you are inside, you don't feel it's a rectangular. It's beautiful. And the triple glazed, air source heat pump, comfort cooling, underfloor heating, smart home technology enabled, ceiling speaker. It's actually nicer than my own house. I was a bit like,
I'll move into one of them.
Yeah. And so even the mirror is smart mirror, can be linked to your phone and play videos and stuff. So it's the quality.
All singing, all dancing.
Yeah. So there's and EV charging, all those things.
Parking?
Yeah, parking for each flat, apartment, EV charging. So people are very, very happy with the product.
I mean, the smart home technology and the apartments generally don't have that, right?
Yeah.
So you've gone over and above what the market is currently providing to then have those millennials or, probably millennials bought it.
Yeah.
That is incredible. And are they all exchanged now or the process of exchanging?
All exchanged because we got them all under offer just before Christmas, right? And then people went down. So we haven't, but everything is moving very smoothly. And that one will hopefully be money in and out within 20 months. And what is most beautiful is I didn't even put much money in it.
Right.
Why? It was 860, right? So I paid 25% for bridging plus stamp duty. So I paid about 250,000 altogether to start with. But I got the planning within a few months. And the moment I got the planning, the value increased from 860 to 1.3 million. Read book valuation. So when the development finance company gave me the money, not only they gave me 100% of the construction, they gave me some refund on my deposit.
Wow.
So to do this whole project over 3 million GDV, I spent less than 200,000.
Wow.
Of my own money.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
The ratio, the leverage. You got maximum leverage basically on it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's planning, the sweat equity of planning, the planning gain saves me.
So I think it's very clever that you've actually used planning in every single strategy and deal that you've done. So you've maximized the potential from every single deal.
Yeah.
And who does the sort of deal sourcing for you? Where do you find these kind of incredible deals?
So I'm still the head of property acquisition. I feel like I can delegate everything, but not yet this part. But I have 2 team members sitting in the Philippines helping me. One is a planner and one is the architect. They are reinforced for this function. So what they do is we use Searchland. So they'll go through Searchland, find all those sites which we want. And they work for me full time. They really understand my criteria and they are like expert in this area, right? So they'll find all of them. And then we have another property sourcer in London, because what the people in the Philippines are not so good at is picking up the phone and speak to someone, right? Because like, who are you? You are calling me from this foreign country.
And also, as you said, they've never lived here, so they don't know what it's like, the sort of culture, the way you speak and all of that. You need a local person really with that.
But they'll find me on the site and then give it to the local person. And my local property sourcer, Karen, she will make the phone calls and stuff. So we get deals this way, direct to vendor. And we also, of course,
you're doing direct to vendor as well?
Yeah, so this is what they do. They identify site and I have someone in London to contact those people.
So you're doing lettering?
Yeah. And also sometimes she calls them directly if she finds them their details on company's house.
So you kind of say, okay, I want a corner plot, I want an L-shaped, a bungalow on a large plot. You provide them with the different specific strategies.
Yeah.
And then they go and find it for you, but not necessarily on the open market, or where you do both?
I do both. So I have 3 sources now. One is direct to vendor. One is just the right move and Zoopla, but I can spot deals other people can't because of my planning
experience and your experience you built up.
And then another one is through agents. So because I work with so many agents and I always deliver, they always come to me with sites. For example, this site I just saw earlier today, I think I'm going to make an offer. It's a very good site. It's given to me by an agent I've bought a property from before. And it's off the market.
Yeah, you built it. So this could be potentially, is it a new build or is it going to be a HMO deal?
It's probably going to be 4 flats, but each flat probably a 5-person HMO.
Brilliant. So do you think, because you've consolidated your area and you know your area as well, so you're probably southwest London is where your patches?
Yeah, so I live in central Wimbledon. I basically 45 minutes is the maximum I will drive.
But it's London Borough, so you're only buying in high value areas, affluent areas where people want to live.
Including Surrey as well.
Yes.
So now I am working in Banstead and Reigate. I mean, working Epsom, probably
Sutton.
around Guildford, Sutton, Epsom, Kingston, Merton, Wandsworth, Lambeth, those 45 minutes.
And so all this negative news in the media about, the Renters' Rights Act and all the heavy legislation for EPC, minimum EPC, or all of these things, do they bother you? Are you already prepared? You're already compliant? You're probably using this massive team that you've got to get you compliant, right?
To be honest, I'm not really that worried. The EPC completely does not bother me because I always buy rundown property and back to break anyway. And quite often I convert them into multiple flats. So, when you convert them, you have to comply with Part L. They are all EPC A and B. They are using like air source
heat pump,
solar
with the
panel.
EPCs.
Yeah.
What about the Renters' Rights Act?
If I'm very honest with you, I don't really know about the renters' right reform because I have 2 people full-time in my property management team. It's like I know it's going.
You know it is what it is, but you don't need to do the work because you've got somebody else do the compliance for you.
Yeah, I know it's going to be huge impact, and I have prepared my team. I have bought them courses for them to do, and but I wasn't really involved. Why? I only have so much time, and my time is mostly, if you look at my time, spending, I think 30% of time property acquisition still, and probably 30% of time planning because I heavily drive the planning strategy, get involved. And then another third of the time is to educate my team still.
Yeah. It never ends, right?
Yeah.
The learning never ends because you find a new bit that helped you do better, then you try and educate your team. And so what would you say is your sort of, it's incredible what you've done. And I think you've done it very strategically because although you don't think you kind of have done it strategically. I know you don't have a 5-year vision or whatever, but now looking back, obviously you thought that wasn't something you did, but now what's the game? What's the sort of next 3 to 5 years? Have you got a plan, a vision, a strategy?
Yes, I do. The game plan is always continue to grow my mindset. So this year, I'm going to London Business School. I'm very, very looking forward to it. Back to be a student.
Yes.
So I will continue to grow myself. And for my business, right, this year, last year especially, I think has been very tough with exit, with property sales and stuff. So I have two pillars, right? One is build to rent, one is build to sell. I think I'll pivot towards one or another depending on the market. When the market is very good, I'll do more build to sell. When the market is bad, I'll do more HMO. So actually this year, this number is not in the pipeline or anything. It's actually delivery. So they are all under planning and construction already. We have about 75 bedrooms, which will be completed before 31st of December this year.
Additional to what you already have.
Yeah. So we'll focus on those.
And that's in the build to rent.
Keeping them. Why? Because there's no exit risk. If I can't sell, I remortgage, and also they can generate income immediately. And also, I am a mom with a young child, so I always think about risk. I will never behave aggressively because my family is already comfortable. I feel that if for me to chase a high and put my daughter, for example, at risk, it's selfish. So I'm building what I'm calling an insurance policy for the next 2 years. So I look at all my costs. My staff cost actually is quite high because I have a big team. I have investors, which I pay monthly because I have good cash flow. I never pay them once a year or something. I pay them monthly interest.
Servicing.
Yeah, so I service them monthly. So, and I have some office costs. So those are the biggest cost. And also I have some cost. So my personal cost. So I added them all together to say, for example, I need 200,000 a month to cover all of them if I have 2008 situation that everything is frozen. So I can't sell a single thing. Can my passive income, regular income, cover all of this? And the answer is now it cannot, but it will very soon.
Yeah.
So my goal is next year, I think I need 18 months to make enough passive income to cover 100% of that. So my business will never go under. Even in the worst time, I can cover everything.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my key goals. And also I want to continue to train my team, close all the gaps. Why? Because now the market is very bad, but we all know property is cyclical. So now actually it's like winter. It's a little bit unfair, right? But it is true. What is the role of a recession? Is to weed out the people who are not performing, the zombie companies who exist just because the market is good. So a lot of people probably will suffer in the next 24 months. But after that, when those companies are gone, there will be more deals, more finance, more resources for the people who are truly good. And when that happens, I want to capitalize on it because I've never had a good market. The moment I started was very hard.
Brexit happens, 2016, and then
COVID, interest crisis, rate rises, inflation crisis. Every time I feel like swimming upstream. So I'm looking forward, I can swim downstream.
Yeah. But I think the one thing that has helped you, and of course I'm not taking anything away from you at all, is the down market, because where you are, property prices are £600-700 per square foot or whatever. But because of this quiet market, high interest rates, of course, they have gone down a little bit since 2022, Liz Trust and all of that. Hopefully you've been able to get some better deals because, especially if they're sticking on the market for a long time and agents know you deliver. So even if you're asking for like a 5 or 10% discount, they'll give it to you because they know that you're going to perform, and at least there is some certainty in it for the vendor. You know what I mean? Because in this market, because it's so uncertain, you providing that certainty is worked to your advantage, I think, as well.
Exactly. And I would never ask anything different because I think because I was growing my business was born into such a tough market. My whole operating model, my risk management is very tight. And in the future, if an investor asks me, so how do you guarantee your business will not go under? You can pay my interest. I'm like, look,
what can be worse than
it can't be worse.
worse than this, right? So you already have that sort of level up from that.
Yeah.
But going back to investors is something I really wanted to ask you. I know you started off with a little bit decent sum, but in London, 450 grand doesn't go a long way. But you've used the whole recycling and leverage to the maximum and even beyond, I'd say. Have you had investors along the way? Have you on how do you work with the investors? Do you do joint ventures? Do you do loans? How has it worked for you? And presumably your banking has helped you understand that better as well.
Actually, this is an area I don't do very well. I don't know. Maybe there is a little bit to do with gender. I don't want to use this, but I think maybe women are usually less aggressive with money, like a
Asking for
general
money.
trend.
Asking
That
money, right?
I feel bad asking people for money. A lot of time, people don't even know. Like, oh, Xuan, you actually need an investor? I never know that because I don't talk about
I
it.
don't ask it. You don't ask
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So that one is bad.
So do you want to work on it a bit more? Do you think?
Yes, I think so because I want to grow, I want to scale. So I need to be a bit better. And at least people need to know I do want to invest there because I have so many, not because I run my business badly, but because I have so many good deals.
Yes.
So that's number one, right? But what I'm good at is once an investor invests with me, they never withdraw their money. And actually they put in more and more and more. That's why even though I don't go out market, I need money.
Yeah.
But I still have a decent amount of investor and they're all homegrown organic.
Yes.
Actually, I find those people the best. They really trust you and they grow. They put more money with me all the time. And the one thing I do that really attracts an investor is I give them monthly income.
Yes.
And I can do that because of my rental portfolio. So
Yes.
I'm not relying on the 18 months project, 24 months project to finish to see the cash flow. So every month I give them always pay on time. So that helps. So I do have some good investors. But on the other side, my business also don't need that many investors.
Because you recycle your money and you're
Yeah.
making huge profits. Like on this
Yeah.
one deal alone, £700,000.
Yeah.
That will be enough to buy you at least another 2 or 3 deals.
Exactly. So number one, I recycle the cash. Number two, the planning gain acts as my equity. So every single project has planning gain. I don't do anything that does not have planning gain. So all my agents knows as well. They never sent me a consented site.
Yes, absolutely. Or even something that's all fully done up.
Yeah.
So do you end up buying some of those properties which are like just cash only, or do you always just get a mortgage and pay a deposit?
Still always get a mortgage. Why? Because my property sourcing capability, because we have the agents now bringing deals. We do direct to vendor and we do it on the open market. We always have a lot of deals. So I want to maximize it. So I actually don't have enough money to do all the deals I can do. So I always get a loan.
Yeah, brilliant. So in terms of your team, are you happy where you're at right now and you just want to basically maybe maximize the efficiency of the team? Is that what you're looking to do in the next sort of 6-12 months and build up that capability even more?
Yeah, so so I have 3 main teams, right? Planning. Underneath them, we have engineers for all the different reports. We have
Structural
CGI
survey, all that, yeah.
CGI specialists, planners, architects, and all that. And we have construction. Construction, we have QSS, construction architect, interior designer. But construction is purely for internal purposes. We don't sell any services.
Yeah.
And then we have operations, including finance, HR, marketing, and the property management, and also property transactions, because I have a lot of things I'm buying and selling. So we have that. I think for construction and operations, I'm very, very happy. We have enough people. And
are they based here, the construction?
Construction, 2 people are based in London. My construction manager and my interior designer. And 1 person based in China, because we source a lot of material from China. And the rest are all in Philippines.
Right. So all these developments that you're doing, whether it's HMOs, new builds, are all the materials sourced from China?
Not all, but most of the second fix material are
so
sourced from China.
Tiles, flooring,
Kitchen,
lights, kitchen,
cabinets,
ovens
furnitures.
and things as well?
No, appliances.
Appliances are here, but just the actual second fix things.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Worktop stones are very cheap in China.
So do you find you have an advantage over maybe another developer who might not be able to source that? So that's
Exactly.
But that's what you want to just keep for yourself. You don't want to, it's not something that's looking to scale up for other developers as well.
Not for the moment, because actually you underestimate it when you do it for yourself. It's a very different story when you do it for others. You have to think about customer service, logistics.
It's another business, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very complicated to do a good job. So we don't do that. The only services we outsource is planning and architectural services. And that is the only area we still need more people, because there are more clients. So we're actually hiring 6 people into that team, 3 planners and 3 architects at the moment.
So that's the team that's growing. Construction's fine, marketing, interiors, everything is fine.
All of them are fine. And those team, I feel like, because they are based in the Philippines, they are really, some of the team members are quite new. So I feel that if I train them properly and they understand a bit better, they use AI now as well. We can double our capacity in operations and construction without more people.
Yeah. So you're using really technology to the max as well.
Yeah.
Do you use any other technology which you have helped to either find sites or anything that's really helped you along the way?
Yeah. So site sourcing and planning research, we use Searchland.
Okay.
Project management, we use ClickUp. We also use Time Doctor to manage timing and also efficiency. We use a HR tool called Omni HR. Basically, that is all the performance reviews, goal setting, and all that holidays you apply in there. We use a tool called Workable because we hire a lot of people. So whenever we hire, Workable push it out to everything. So LinkedIn, Monster, Indeed, everything. So push it out there. So that's Workable. And what else we use?
What, do you use a CRM like a Monday or a Asana?
That's ClickUp. So ClickUp is like project management. It's very similar to Monday. I think that's pretty much. Oh, we use AI. We use Gemini heavily because one of the biggest weakness of my team, they are very conscientious, technical. Their understanding is great, but sometimes they lack the local knowledge. So I always ask them to sense check their ideas with Gemini.
Brilliant. So what next then, Xuan? Because I think you've definitely so let's put it back, like say 8 years from now. Where did you think you would be? Have you sort of surpassed what you thought you'd achieve? Yeah.
Yes,
definitely, hugely, right? And is this all you? I know you've got a business mentor who's been along the journey with you. Is this whole brain, this this business that you built, is this just you?
100% mine. Actually, that's why when I use investors' money, I'm quite cautious. So I borrow loans from people with fixed return. I'm more comfortable with that because it's a fixed return. Does not matter if I do a very good job, very bad job, I pay the same amount of money. That's it, right? I'm a bit hesitating. I'm not saying it's bad, but I just a little bit concerned about doing JV because it's much more involvement. You know, your interests are more tangled, so more likely to have some issues and stuff. So I have never used a joint venture or anything. So everything I own 100%. Maybe it has impacted my growth. So I didn't grow as fast, but it has definitely reduced my risk and allowed me to sleep well at night.
Yes, absolutely. So what would you say are the soft skills that have enabled you to be such an overachiever and, outperform even your own expectations? Let's put it that way.
Number one, I think I perseverance. When you put me into a difficult situation, actually I bounce back harder. I never give up. That's one. Now, the second one I think I really value is I have a growth mindset. If you think about me, I'm this Chinese girl from a backwaters place. Parents were very, very poor. So how did I get here? Through learning. I have a nickname. People call me SpongeBob because I absorb. So that's very important. That's why I'm going to London Business School.
Love for learning.
Be surrounded
love learning.
by the best people, and I learn so much.
You take it on and then you use it in your sort of business and what I really like.
Want to download your brain, just connect.
No, which is amazing actually, and also you take action. I think that's very, very important. You take action. You're not. Would you think you said earlier on that you're a risk averse? I don't think you are. I think you're a calculated risk taker. I think what you've done very well, and you might not see this, and I'm seeing it just over this, last few minutes that we were talking, is you've adapted and you've perfected the cookie cutter model, and you've surpassed it every single time. You learn something from the previous one, and then you implement it in your next one. And I think that niching, because a lot of people say, do I go wide? Do I do different strategies? And you've got these 2 unique strategies, possibly even 3, but you've perfected them, and every single time you're doing better and better, and you're getting better at it. And
exactly. Actually, when we decided to do planning services for external clients, initially I didn't imagine we would have so many clients make so much money. Was for learning.
Yes.
Because I was like, we do more projects for others so we can learn and we can implement it in our project. So every time we finish a project, we learn something. Everybody say that this is what happened and improve, put this new thing into our SOP.
So what would you say to someone who is kind of starting in property in 2026, and we know the market's like, there's so much negativity, uncertainty, the UK economy is pretty much zero growth, stagflation, unemployment going up, London's bearing the brunt of it, regulation up to your eyeballs and more. And there is just so much that the government is actually hindering rather than helping entrepreneurs, property developers, landlords. What would you say to someone who's kind of got in a full-time job? They're happy where they are, but they want that additional income, a secondary income, possibly want to be their own boss in a few years' time. What would you say to them, and how do you think they should kind of kickstart their sort of their property journey?
I think it really depends. I think HMO is still a very, very good strategy because whenever property sales struggle, property rental actually performs better. You can imagine, right? People can't afford to buy, so they rent. So I think HMO is a good strategy, especially that it's relatively smaller size project, more controllable, and you have dual exit. You can sell or you can remortgage, right? And you have immediate income coming in. So I would still say HMO, but just be a bit careful. Don't go to the area which is over concentrated. And the second,
would you say, sorry, going back, one last question. HMOs, some people are making really good money or added value through doing HMOs in Article 4 areas. Would you recommend that? Maybe buying an existing rundown HMO from like a retiring landlord or, selling up land? Would you say just go into a basic area, no Article 4, and then just go up to like a 6-bed to start with?
I would do both. And I'm not afraid of Article 4 area. The only time I tell you not to go to Article 4 area is the Article 4 area is new. So when you come to us, let's say you say, Xuan, can you do this planning for us? And Article 4 came in 5 months ago. And we haven't seen that many cases being refused or approved. So I would feel nervous. I'm like, Manni, I'm sorry. I can't tell you for sure if this property.
You can have a go, but you're not sure.
Yeah. But then you can maybe do pre-app between offer agreed exchange. So that will help you manage the risk. But for an area that is Article 4, for example, Croydon has been there for 4-5 years.
Yeah.
I know exactly what type of property can get planning, what can't. So that is pretty safe. But do speak to someone who understands the planning. So for example, for Sutton, I know exactly which type of property you can get a large HMO. For example, you have to be in the area of potential intensification, ideally a detached house, etc. So it is more difficult than non-Article 4 area, but there is a way.
And also, like you said, the value that you can add is definitely you double the value, right? Because nobody can get, it's difficult to get planning. So where there's a
instant commercial valuation.
Exactly. Where there's a barrier to entry, there's always an extra added profit to make. Sorry, and you were saying something else. So what else? So someone can do HMOs?
Yeah.
And what else?
I lost my train of thought. I was thinking if you are young and ideally no children, I'll renovate your own house. That's what I did because, for your own house, there's no tax, right?
Yes.
So imagine if you buy a investment project, you have to pay 5% additional stamp duty. But if you buy your own house, you don't have to do that. So you save 20,000-30,000 straight away, and you buy your house and you renovate it, and then 2 years later you sell it. Every single profit goes to your pocket. There's not a single penny of tax.
Yes.
So you can do that a couple of times. I see a lot of people, including myself, where does my initial money come from? Half of that is the remortgage of my own house which I did a renovation project in.
Right. You increase the value of your own home. You pulled out some of that money and then you reinvested that into your investment deals.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. And what would you say to the sort of people who are saying, well, buy-to-let is dead, HMOs are dead. What's your advice to them?
It is becoming more difficult, I think, for just like the ad hoc landlord. It is. I think people need to realize that That's why I think Titans is so good. It's like you have a group of people together, you train them, so it's education, the training.
Yes.
You have to behave like a professional or institutional landlord. But sometimes it's difficult, but you have this group of people and you can group your resources, pool your resources to allow that to happen. I know you do a lot of training and people share different
Yes.
Ideas.
And it's a community, right? So you learn from
Exactly.
everybody, and
Yeah.
you're committed to it. So you come and you learn from other people. And just before we kind of wrap up, just one more thing I wanted to really talk about was BlackRock and the likes of the private equity firms, the large asset management, and everyone's talking about how they're going to take over the whole of the UK stock, and really where all this regulation is coming from is, as you said, the death of the accidental landlord. A small time landlord has to sell up because they can't sustain their business anymore, of the cost of the compliance and everything. What do you think is happening? Do you think there is this bigger sort of agenda, the government agenda of actually getting rid of smaller businesses, smaller landlords?
I think there are definitely benefits in those large build-to-rent schemes. But have you noticed like those build-to-rent schemes are very, very expensive? Like look at those student accommodation, etc. So I think there is always going to be a market for smaller landlord. And the BlackRock can't be everywhere because their cost of deployed capital is very, very expensive. They can only concentrate on like very, very large scale.
Co-living schemes or larger build. Yeah.
Exactly. So for example, Epsom is already a super built-up area and they can't buy a huge plot of land to do 500 units and then they can't work there.
Yeah.
So there are definitely a large part of the London and the wider UK that smaller landlord work. But my advice is get training, find your own community. You can't continue like you before. You have to get the knowledge. You have to behave more like a professional and institutional landlord.
Yes. So run it more like a business rather than just a sort of, mom and pop kind of venture kind of thing. And would you also give them an advice of maybe taking on like a part-time admin or someone to help them, 'cause especially if they're in a full-time job and they're not going to have time to look for properties as much, or you know what I mean? Would you advise them to scale up?
Definitely. And if you are not making that much profit, like me, why did I find my first assistant in the Philippines? Because I was worried about, the risk, the cost of bringing someone on board in the UK. So I found someone in the Philippines at a fraction of the cost. So you can start with that to manage your cash flow as well.
Well, I mean, it's been an amazing talk, actually, Xuan. And I think a lot of what you've told me a lot of it is relatable to me because I, like you, stopped property because of my kids and all of that, pushed into a corner from a very sort of deprived background. So a lot of your story is actually very relatable to me. So I really appreciate you sharing it, and I'm really grateful that you came along today on a Saturday to give up your time and share these inspirational deals and journey. And you've really inspired me to actually increase my team a little bit more. I've got a small team, but nowhere near your team. And I think some of my sort of gaps in knowledge, or even just like time where, I'm looking at a scheme and I want to know how many apartments I can create from the scheme, just hire someone, like yourself. I've got a lot of contacts in India now where I can probably do that. So you have really, truly inspired me today. And well, good luck with your big vision and your big hairy goals. And I'm really excited to see what you're going to do in your next phase of your journey and for this pipeline of 75 units that you've got going this year. Wish you really well and all the best, and your degree, your new course that you're doing. So I'm really excited for you in your next phase. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Manni. We'll conquer the world together.
Yes. Guys, if you enjoyed watching that, please do like, share, subscribe, and comment for regular property updates.